Greetings, Helldivers, Sea Soldiers, Super Earth citizens. I am Commander Maximus, and I had something I just wanted to yap about here. All right, this is not anything important. This is just some goober talking about some stupid crap. And if that's something you want to hang out for, then cool. Stick around. I'll probably just put some random gameplay clips behind this, so if you got dishes to fold and laundry to wash, whatever. But you may have read the title of this and thought, oh great, here's another guy who just likes to bitch about a bunch of stuff in this game, and I'm not like that. I love this game, and I do love commando missions. I love commando missions. I don't hate them by any means. I think the commando missions are a magnificent switch-up of, like, the normal Helldivers formula. Being in there without the orbital support and all that stuff feels great. Having to focus on stealth. I love how tense it can be when you're hiding out in a bush and there's a patrol walking by and you gotta just hold your breath and hope that they don't see you. Trying to coordinate with your teammates to take down an outpost in as stealthy a manner as possible. It is a great time. But I do have a small issue with them. When the commando missions were first added, they were a lot of fun because it was, like, dedicated to one planet that was behind enemy lines, and we were trying to figure out, what are they doing there? We were going in, trying to take their data, make it as stealthy as possible, and it all revolved around that one planet. Everything on that planet was Commando Operations. And, I like the sort of feel of things. I like the vibe. I like the roleplay. I'm a big D&D fan, as you might have been able to tell from the name of the channel here. And so that almost a roleplay aspect of, like, I'm on this planet for this specific purpose and I have to be stealthy felt great. But I don't really like how Arrowhead has continued to implement them going forward, where these planets will just randomly have a commando operation here and then have a normal operation here. That seems a little odd. That doesn't really feel like what a commando mission is. Because, again, the commando missions are like, you're supposed to be deep behind enemy lines, so how am I deep behind enemy lines doing a commando mission right here when right next door there's a normal operation going on? And that just feels a little weird. And I know it's probably just, in this particular location, there's a higher amount of enemy defense, whatever the case may be. I get that. But it's still, I don't like the way that feels. But I had an idea. That I think could help fix that aspect of commando missions, as well as help fix another problem I had with the game, and that's defense campaigns. Defense campaigns are really cool in concept, where you have, a planet being attacked, and then the planet that the attack is stemming from. I think right now the planet K that we have is being attacked by the bots, and the attack is stemming from Coapessa. And I love the concept of, if you take out the planet that the attack is stemming from, in this case Coapessa, you could either completely end the assault on the other planet, K in this case, or at least make it a hell of a lot easier. But my issue with that is that in all of my over 1,000 hours in this goddamn game, I have never once seen a gambit be successfully pulled off. Ever. No one ever goes for the gambit, ever. And I think it's just not worth it, because the gambit doesn't pay off unless that planet is captured. If you get to 99.99% captured on that planet, but you don't actually take it, then it doesn't get you anywhere. And that feels kind of lame. There's just not a lot of incentive to go for the gambit more often than not, especially when you have the vast majority of players are on the defending planet to aid in its defense. If you got 20,000 players defending K, and there's only like 1,000 players on Coapessa, going for the gambit feels, in raw numbers, like a waste of time. So, here's my proposed solution to both of these problems. In this case, using the current assault that's going on right now as an example, you have K that is being under attack from Coopessa. I think that Coopessa should exclusively have Commando Operations on it. All right? I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, the enemy, the bots are staging an attack on K from Coopessa. That means that's where they're storing all of their ammo, all their vehicles, all their troops, all their resources. They're staging it on Coopessa. It's going to be heavily defended. Your Super Destroyer would reasonably not be able to stay in orbit over something that's that heavily defended for very long. And I think it plays into the feeling of what a commando mission should be. You are being dropped into enemy territory behind enemy lines, and the commandos are there to sabotage the enemy equipment, sabotage their tanks, their materials, their weapons, all that stuff before it makes it over to the planet K. So I think that would add a little bit more incentive and a little bit more of that roleplay aspect that I know myself and a lot of the community likes, is that, you know, you're these hard-boiled, kick-ass commandos going in to try to sabotage all the enemy equipment. I think it would be beneficial if this came with a whole bunch of new mission types as well. Even if it's just kind of remixes on already existing mission types. Like maybe there's one where it's a destroy airfield, and if the commandos destroy enough airfields on Coopessa, then it reduces the number of dropships on K. Like every time bots call for reinforcements on K, because the commandos on Coopessa destroyed a whole bunch of their airfields and stuff, it makes the reinforcements on K fewer. It makes them bring in less dropships. Maybe if the commandos can disrupt resource mining operations on Coopessa, it reduces enemy armor on K, because the bots are needing to resort to, you know, suboptimal materials. And I think that would be cool too, instead of having it be an all or nothing thing with the Gambit, where you have to take the entire planet or it doesn't get you anything. You could kind of have it in stages, where like the more the commandos work to sabotage the bot stuff on Coopessa, it can add more debuffs to the bots on K. And I think that would fix a lot of issues with both things. You know, it would be more of an incentive to go for the Gambit because, one, it's the commando missions. The commando missions are more fun. They're more engaging. You know, and a lot of players would like that added challenge. And it would fix the issue with defense missions not really having much of an incentive, because even if a small handful of players is able to get, I don't know, 15% liberation on Coopessa, maybe once you get 15% liberated, that adds a debuff to the attack on K, making the people who are defending a little easier. I think that would also help add like a sort of teamwork community aspect to it. And I think it would just make everything feel a little more engaging, a little more immersive, a little more fun, in my personal opinion. Now, that being said, I don't think they should take away commando missions just being on planets randomly, like how an operation can either be a normal one or a commando operation. I think that's fine. Keep that around, because that gives the people who like commando missions something to do when there's not an attack going on. And again, it does make sense in the thought process of like, this is a heavily defended area, so it makes sense that you could still have commando missions on these normal planets. But yeah, I think I've yapped on long enough about this. This was just my random idea. If you like the idea, let me know. If enough people know about it, I don't know, maybe in a dream fantasy land, Arrowhead can catch wind of it and try to implement something. Not that that'll happen, I don't think, but hey, you know, one can dream. But yeah, if you thought the idea was cool, you know, sauce me an interaction, give me the thumbs up, all that fun stuff. If you want some of the most infrequent uploads of your life. Feel free to subscribe to me for nothing, really. So yeah. Anyway, y'all take it easy, fight hard, dive well, and may liberty guide you.